Hello viewers, welcome to the African Section 99. Today we're speaking to Ashaba Faridah. Ashaba is a training pilot, but also, commercial pilot, but doing multi-engine ratings. She's a TEDx speaker and she also has her own foundation, Bambino Life. So welcome to the talk, Ashaba, and lovely to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me here, Ivana. I'm happy to be here.
And Ashaba, you have a very inspiring story. I know it's not a great story, but please can you sort of tell us what motivated you to become a pilot, and why you chose to become a pilot and how you became a pilot?
Thank you for that question. I didn't actually think I would be a pilot growing up because, first of all, I didn't know that Uganda trained pilots. We never heard about anything to do with pilots. So growing up in school, most of the professions we always talked about was being a doctor or a lawyer. So I'd always say that I wanted to be a lawyer. But as you grow old, in high school, your dreams kind of change. And also mine started changing. I started wanting to become an interior designer. And more than that, I was always looking at my mother's pocket because I grew up in a humble background and I grew up with a single mother. So the struggle was really real, and she was doing everything on her own, paying for me, my siblings, but also paying for my, my cousins and relatives. She was basically taking care of the entire family. So as a firstborn, I had to be conscious of knowing what is at home before I can even dream big. And I would always dream in the limits of what we could afford. And interior designing seemed like something my mother would afford, or would get a loan, at least a small loan, to be able to pay for. So piloting was never, I think it's even laughable remembering it right now, because it is not something you'd bring up. That would be, the entire tuition would be enough to feed us for a long time in a family.
Yes, yeah.
But after high school, I think one of my uncles came at home and gave us an idea of me going and doing a diploma in flight operations and management. Even though it was expensive, he said it was for 1 year, and then he also promised that once we're done, would get many job opportunities, because there weren't many, aviation was really growing at a high rate in Uganda. So I went to do flight operations and management at an academy. I think it's government-owned. It's called the East African Civil Aviation Academy. It used to be a big academy back in the days, actually, in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and
when I did
is it run by pilots, operated by pilots, or is it private? Government, you said. Government.
It is government. I think it is government. And what I know is that this school even existed because when I looked at one of the logbooks of, I think it's a Cessna 310, it dated back to 1920 something. So this school, I think 60 something. So the school has been around for such a long time. And it was an aviation school that used to get pilots from across Africa. Wow. So one of the things it used to do, it's called the East African Civil Aviation Academy. One of the things it used to do is that it would train pilots and then put them into, airlines. Back when we had an airline. Yes, wow, exactly. Yeah, so it would train airline pilots. Yes, so it would train airline pilots. And so when I did go there, and during orientation, we're all excited. So during orientation and everything, I see when they're taking us to the hangars to, see what is happening, I see a plane come and land, and this lady got out. And when I saw her, there was something inspiring about the entire picture, that I knew that I wanted to be like her, that I wanted to become a pilot. And so it changed my entire dream line, or my entire narrative. And then now I knew I was chasing towards wanting to become a pilot. Of course, like I said, aviation is very expensive. It does not change. Even though it's a government school, it tries to be on the affordable side, but it is still expensive. Because I remember then paying for the pilot career was, I think, $18,000. But now it's, I think, $22,000. But since I had now a dream without money, I had to chase the dream. I had to focus on the dream. And the only way I was going to pursue that dream is to get a scholarship, because once in a while they do offer scholarships. And I think I chased that scholarship for 2 years or 2.5 years. It was such a trying moment for me, because I don't know, chasing a scholarship is so hard. It's not easy. You're going through so much, trying to put your name on the list. Your name is put up. You're going through a lot. And 2 years, or almost 2.5 years, I almost gave up. I think it was on the last day that I said, if this does not work out, I'm going to leave aviation. And I think God had other plans, because on that very last day when I was giving up, that is when the president came, I think, around, and we got our chance to speak to him, and I was able to get the scholarship. So that is my journey to becoming a pilot.
That is so amazing that you actually managed to get the scholarship, because in Africa there's so many organizations, but not many offer scholarships, and you don't find scholarships for many people. So in your school, was it only for one person that time, the scholarship, or for a few of them? Do they give out one scholarship per person per year?
No. Okay, so here's the thing. Like you said, in Africa, it's not easy to get scholarships. I don't even think the aviation scholarships. I don't know.
I haven't heard of many. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's expensive. Most of the scholarships, rather than go towards one person for aviation, are distributed in universities. So they give out scholarships. So in this particular school, because it is government owned a bit, so you have to get the scholarship from the government. And it is not like they don't list the scholarships. They are not listed on the website like you're going to get it. It's more like when the president did come, and then we talked about our financial situation, he was able to say, okay, we shall pay for you guys. I think we're about like 8 people. But that's it. Yeah. Like there is no assurance of maybe there'll be another scholarship. It's like a random thing. Exactly. Yeah. It's like at that point.
And were there lots of other females at the same time as you, or were you the only female who got the scholarship? Like, first of all, I'm really happy that they actually gave a female a scholarship, because sometimes, they don't really consider giving females, as always to the males and stuff. So were there other females?
Honestly, if I'm to be honest, in this particular case, it wasn't more of they were looking at female or male. It was more of who had the financial need for it. Okay. Because other people were in positions, like other ladies who I know, they were in positions where their families could afford to pay for them. So it was given based on financial need, and I just happened to be, I think we were 2 ladies, and we just happened to be, I think, 2 ladies on that list who needed that financial need, but others, they had the ability to pay for themselves.
Okay. And so far, part of the challenges that you told us, I was going to ask you, what other challenges have you faced in becoming a pilot and this sort of environment? You've already said the financial side, but so far, other than that, have you experienced any other challenges so far in the aviation career?
First of all, my scholarship, which I'm very thankful for, has its own challenges. One of the challenges being that no matter how slow the course may take, because you're on a scholarship, you have to endure. This has gone on for about 5 years or even more.
5 years? Wow.
Something that would have been, yes. I've renewed my commercial pilot license twice, and I'm going to renew it again this year without flying on it. I'm renewing it again. But that is the thing, is that if you do not have the financial liberty of your own, where you can go to a school that is fast and accelerates you through a program, then you have to be patient. So because of the scholarship, I have to be patient. Even if it takes 10 years, I have to be patient for those 10 years to be able to achieve what I want or what I hope to get. And yes, like they are challenging. I think for me, that has been one of my greatest challenges. It's been testing my patience, because there could be problems, like the school may have fuel problems, instructors may be on strike, the planes may have, problems, or we have to wait for spare parts. There could be a bit of, sometimes there is a bit of favoritism where, some students may have like relatives among instructors, so they will come first, leave faster, they do a course for a short period of time. So all of these things, they get to you, they really get to you, and you reach a time and you ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Like, if the people you went to school with, are already in their families, they're settling, they're doing all of that, and you're still doing one course, sometimes it's a bit discouraging. The other challenges, I would say, of course, it goes without saying, that is why we have the 99s African section. It's the gender-based challenges where, maybe your colleagues or people equate women to being, emotional, moody, and then also, like, whenever you do something, it's never that you're good at it. It's more like you're being favored, or they're going easy on you because you're a woman. And then I've had this personally myself. A guy colleague made a statement about a friend of mine who had gotten a promotion recently, and he attributed it to her sleeping with her boss. And I had to stand in and I said, that is not right. You can't just assume. And then I asked him, what if it was a guy? What would it mean? He just said, well, it would mean that he worked hard for it. So women will be attributed to sleeping with their bosses, or, it's never someone is good enough. It's always some excuse to, despise the hard work that someone puts in. But at the end of the day, you focus on why you're there, and your work speaks for you, and that is what matters. So you tend to, drown out the talking and focus on your,
I really admire your tenacity and your determination. I mean, 5 years on that scholarship is a long time. And all I can say to you as a fellow aviator and pilot is don't give up. Keep going, and like you say, just be patient. Things will happen. Aviation has always been a very difficult career, in the sense, especially in Africa, because and now we're going through serious challenging times as well. But yes, the financial aspect is always the most hardest, but just persevere, hang in there, and things will always come your way. Keep the faith, that's important. In the meantime, you've also, while you've been doing aviation, you've been doing other things and supporting the girl child and promoting youth in Uganda through your charity organization called Bambino Life. Can you tell us a bit more about Bambino Life and how it started, why you started?
I started Bambino Life. I was out of high school, and then I've always wanted to help or give back, because, like I said, when you grow up in an environment of lack, you know what it means and you understand what it means, and you feel like if you could do something for someone in that particular situation, it may make a huge difference for them. So after high school, I've always wanted to start up a foundation, but then no one can give money to a high schooler. They don't think you're going to do much with it. Yeah. So I struggled through high school trying to start up a foundation. I couldn't. But then after high school, I realized I could not wait forever, and I had to start with whatever I had. And so I would go to some of the friends who had clothes that they would no longer use, or shoes or books, and I would get those things, and then I would take them to orphanages. Or I'll take them to the streets, so that, those who do not have, because you know what they say, one man's rubbish is another man's treasure or gold. So I would get those things, and then I'll take them to those who didn't have. And that is how Bambino came to life. And one of the things that we are now focusing on entirely, and it's been around for, I think, 5 years. It has been around for the long time. I mean, since I started training as a pilot, that is how long Bambino has been. That is how long Bambino have come along with it. Because when I started training as a pilot, I realized that I could use my platform to inspire young girls out there. But more than that, I knew that most of the girls would relate to my story, coming from backgrounds that didn't have much. So we started a mission of promoting girl child education and empowerment. And what we'll do is we'll go to rural areas and, try to talk to the girls, teach them different skills, make sure that they stay in school, tackle some of the problems that affect them from, attending school. Like, you have child marriages, young
That's
girls
a
at
big
11
thing in
getting married
Africa.
at getting married, at a young age, especially in rural areas. And then you have, teenage pregnancy. You have all those sorts of things. So we wanted to combat all of that. How could we stop it? How could we make sure these girls stay in school? And how do we make sure that these girls, when they are in school, they're able to pursue their dreams, they're able to pursue their careers? So we started to tackle some of those problems that prevent them from going, from staying in school, like menstruation period or menstruation poverty, where girls cannot afford sanitary pads, they cannot afford simple things that may seem simple to others, but to them it is life-changing, that when they don't have that, they can't go on and they can't attend school. So that's some of the work that we have been doing. We teach these girls different skills, hands-on skills, to empower them both domestically but also on a commercial level. And that way we are able to have more girls stay in school, more girls focus on their future and dream ahead and have options to what they can be when they grow up. So that is one of the things. And then also maybe we also create awareness about children living with disabilities, because when it comes to disabilities, in Africa, it's attributed to witchcraft.
Yes.
Your neighbors bewitched you, if your child is maybe autistic and all of that. So we create a bit of awareness around that, so that parents get to know, what they're dealing with and how, so that is mostly what we do at Bambino.
I really like that work that you said you're doing about the autism, because like you say, everything is attributed to witchcraft in Africa, and people in the West don't really understand how can that be witchcraft. They have no knowledge of it, but it's actually very pandemic in Africa. In Malawi as well, we have that, which is very, like, every little thing is related to or put down to African witchcraft. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing and inspiring the next generation and the youth during these challenging times. I know that the teenage pregnancies have increased, especially in Malawi as well during COVID and the lockdown periods. Is that the same in Uganda?
Yes, I think recently we had on the news, they said about 3,000 girls got pregnant. And I don't even know in the period of how long. I don't know whether it was a week or something, but those girls got pregnant. And normally what we do, even through the foundation is that we'll talk about these things, about pregnancies. We'll talk to the parents. We'll talk about the causes, how they can avoid them. We'll create awareness and all those things and preventing them. But when you're in lockdown, it's a bit tricky. You can't reach out to these different people because of social distancing. So you have girls who would have been in school studying. Now they have the chance to sneak out and meet this boyfriend or what, and most of the girls don't even know how to protect themselves. But more than that, you also have cases where girls are being molested. And one of the things that we have been doing as a foundation actually has been doing an online kind of awareness situation, whereby we talk about these issues to parents and all that. But you have to remember, most of the girls who are affected are in areas that do not have access to the internet.
Yes.
So that is also a challenge in itself. So we have been doing as much as we can, but this is something that needs to be looked at. And girls have gotten pregnant in the lockdown situation. So many girls. I mean, if you look at it, not even be funny, people who are already married or people who are not young, so many women are pregnant in lockdown.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So the girls also have to, so that is what is happening. Yeah.
It is really important to keep educating them at a very young age, especially. We found in Malawi, their statistics were that you reduce the HIV infection by keeping girls in schools and education by 60%. That is huge. So, and that's just keeping them in schools. So, we really need to keep doing this and raising awareness. And like you said, a lot of them in the rural areas, when you ask them, what do you want to be? They have no concept of having a career or even thinking that they could be anything. But like you being a role model, going out there, one of the very few female pilots, they see you and they would aspire to be like you. So it's really important, the work that you're doing. We really need to emphasize that. So thank you so much for all that.
Thank you.
What message can you send out to the youth who want to aspire to be pilots today?
Believe in yourself. I think that is cliche, but I feel like I'm in position to say that because being a pilot has been a challenge for me. Most of the times, actually, I just realized even most of the interviews that I give, I never go deep on how it has been challenging, like I've told you. I think today is the first time that I've really talked about how challenging it has been for me, especially the scholarship bit of it, and waiting and trying to be patient when everyone else is looking at you and hoping that somewhere else, yet you're not there. But believing in yourself and seeing how far you've come and not giving up on the journey that you've taken, because then it seems like if I were to give up now, it seems like all I went through would be for nothing. It's like all the struggle I went through was for nothing. So believing in yourself, believing that, at the end of the day, you can do it and you can achieve what you've set your mind to, and also believing in God's timing and trying to find purpose in, the delays, trying to find purpose in the struggle. Because if I try to find purpose in why I've delayed, I try to look at a brighter picture and hope that maybe there is a reason why it's taking longer than it is. If you try to find purpose in, the struggle and the hustle and all of that, then you have a different perspective about everything. And in that way, you believe in yourself and you believe that you're on the right path. So believing in yourself and not letting anyone tell you any different.
That's a great message. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Ashaba, and for doing this interview with us today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here, Ivana. I'm very happy for giving you this interview. I hope it inspires someone out there.
It definitely will. And especially now in these challenging times, it sure will. Your story is really inspiring. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much, dear.